Welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Every episode microplot is a complete adventure with a beginning and an end that fits into the overarching macroplot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to these adventures in any order, and can skip any you don't enjoy. Today we are playing using the combat mechanics from a game called Adventurous. It's our first time playing, so we might make some mistakes. If you enjoy these mechanics, you can find Adventurous by Dawnfist Games on drivethrurpg.com. Build your own Adventurous character and play the game with friends. Speaking of friends, today we are joined by Armando.
Hello everyone, my name is Armando Contenda Bellano de Medici. I am a human being. I'm about 31 years old. In this game mechanic, I am considered a warrior class. However, I like to flavor that like a mercenary sword fighter. I stand about 6'2", weigh a lean 165 pounds. I'm 31 years old, and my hair is like a shoulder length. It looks black, but it's just really dark brown. My eyes are very light amber, and my skin tone is a moderately tan. And I'm wearing like a traditional, like I would say like a fencer outfit, but not like the white one with the mask, but kind of like a roguish hero like a outfit, vest with a white shirt and leather pants and leather boots. And so I got 2 swords and I'm ready to go.
Bartholomew.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bartholomew Salvador. I'm a 6'2" human man with auburn hair, white skin, and blue eyes. And my combat class is a cavalier marksman, and I am currently wearing a green regimental coat with the beige facings, beige breeches, and a black tricorn hat. Also, as I do with every episode I am featured in, I like to read off some poetry I write, and today I'm reading off a poem inspired by one of our fellow fire-breathing kittens, called The Fire Genasi of the Sea. A figure standing, tall and brash, with eyes that brightly glow. Even in the darkest times, her flame ignites the heart. As many coins do cross her palm, her color changes so. If you cross her in bad faith, she'll surely tear you apart.
Thank you. And Sadie.
Hi. Sadie doesn't talk much, so I'll describe her. She has white hair and ears that are parallel with the horizon. She's a Macrotus elf. I was watching Free Run, and I was like, oh, she's pretty, so she looks like her. In this game, she's playing a cleric, but I don't think she's figured out Holy Bolt. I don't think she knows what that is. She couldn't hurt a fly, so she might give you guys a daily bless, and that's about it. Good luck. Y'all might die this time. She is carrying 2 healing potions, so maybe that'll do something. But anyway, so that's Sadie. She is a Macrotus elf and a cleric.
You are all finding yourselves in the Fire Breathing Kittens Guild Hall. The guild is a large building with a bar, a sitting area with wooden tables and chairs, and a wall with a job board, upon which sits a faded piece of parchment, a single flyer. What would you like to do?
Bartholomew is currently sipping on coffee while writing up his new magazine, writing in some poems and current events.
I'm always up for adventure, so I am eyeing the job board, wondering if I should take I want to take the job flyer, but I don't want to be like greedy, I don't want to be like always taking the job flyers, and then everybody is complaining to Nulithag about like, Armando is always taking the job flyers. That is not what I want to do. So like I am peering at it with the side of my eye, like I'm looking at it, making sure nobody else is taking it before I act. So I'm just waiting on, leaning on a post, looking at the job board. But it's been like this for 2 hours.
Bartholomew puts down his coffee, takes in a breath, and then looks over to the side and sees his good friend Armando eyeing the job flyer. Oh, hello. Good afternoon, Armando.
Hey, Bartholomew, how are you doing?
Excellent. It's been such a while since we've been on one of adventures together. I see a job flyer over there. Perhaps you might want to take a look with me?
Oh, of course, I would love to. I do not want to overstep my bounds. I don't want to get like a reputation for being greedy. But yes, I would love to. The last time I was, yes, let's take a look.
Yes, these adventures sure are inspiring me. And Bartholomew will stand up and head towards the job board, take a look at the flyer.
I will follow Bartholomew.
As you grab the flyer, you see it is an aged piece of parchment, as I mentioned before, quite battered. But upon it is a fancy calligraphy-style handwriting. Upon it reads, "Fire-breathing kittens. I am being harassed by some very rude ne'er-do-wells who have imposed their presence upon my beloved family estate. I find myself unable to even walk the grounds of my own domicile and have been restricted to a very undesirable living situation. Please help save me from these raffish individuals who impress their unwelcome presence upon my manse. Be a doll and provide me with a helping hand. I can provide you with a reward worthy of your aid." In the place of a signature, it has an address. 113 East Martello, once upon a time. The parchment has been embossed with the imprint of a shield containing a 3-headed hydra.
I didn't get the full... I was writing down notes and I didn't get the full address. Only once upon a time.
113 East Martello, Martello.
Thank you.
So, Bartholomew, I have a question for you. I know you are a calligrapher. You are an aficionado of writing and paper. This paper it seems very old. And I don't know, is there like a shop you can go to buy purposefully old paper to make it seem like more important or something like this? Or was this just like somebody had paper that they bought 50 years ago, and this was the last scrap of paper they could use to make this job flyer?
Very interesting detail. Yes, I'm not actually sure. It seems like a flyer that would be posted here for something recent, but now that you mention it, this paper surely feels very, very old, yes. But the handwriting
maybe it is a recent flyer. I'm sorry. Go right ahead, Bartholomew.
Oh, you go ahead.
I was just saying, I think it is a new flyer, but I think whoever made it wanted to have an era or an aura of importance. You know, when you look at old paper, it's like that has been around for a long time. This must be an important, whatever is written on this paper is important. And so, is there like a place you can buy old paper? So everything you write is important?
I've not really thought of it, only about just the style of calligraphy. However, there might be places like that around here in Nicomoy and other places.
Is the ink old? Does it look like... Sadie just kind of tapers off.
This might be... is Sadie going to investigate it, or are you just asking Bartholomew or Armando?
I think Sadie would be more comfortable investigating it than talking about investigating it. Like I don't think anyone heard what she just said because she said it way too quietly. So she's just looking at the paper and they're talking about shops and she's just peering in. So can I roll a check?
Yeah, go for it. So the primary mechanic of Adventurous is ability checks. You have strength, dexterity, knowledge, will, and charisma. So we'll go with knowledge for this one. And you roll a number of d6s based on your ability. And if you roll a 5, that's a single success. A 5 or 6, that's a single success. If you roll 2, that's a strong success.
I have 2 dice. The first was a 2. The second was a 5. Whoa.
So that is a weak success. And you are looking to see, remind me what it was specifically you're looking for?
The oldness of the ink. For example, if the ink was very, very old, maybe it would have slightly changed color. But if the ink was fresh and shiny and color fast, and not at all bled into the page around it, maybe I could tell. I am 718 years old. I got some old journals that they old.
Yeah, so I would say with a weak success, yes, you can tell that the ink is very old. And the paper itself seems to be very old. The paper, you're not sure if that is because someone made it look aged or whether it is genuinely old, but the ink you can tell is old.
Oh, Sadie, I did not see you there until you were examining this flyer very carefully. How are you doing?
Hi Armando. I think this was written a really long time ago.
You know, I have been staring at this flyer for the last 2 hours. And so I don't know how long it had been up before this, but maybe nobody got around to it, or I don't know, maybe... it's about time that somebody take this job up. Hopefully the person that give this job is still around, like still alive, number one, but still need the job done.
This is very mysterious, and thank you, Sadie, for giving your input. I know you're very much wise on things such as this.
She blushes. She's got white hair and currently red skin.
Oh, Sadie, I was just talking to Bartholomew about the possibility of having like a store that sells old paper only, so everything you write is like seeming important. You are a very business-minded. So do you think this is something that is worthwhile, like a business, what you call a side hustle or something like that?
Do you think that would sell? I have some paper from like 70 years ago that I haven't used recently. Do you want it?
Well, before you give it to me, like I appreciate the gift. That is very nice. But I think you should try and see if this is something that is marketable. And maybe you can make a store and sell your old paper. And then everybody is like, I'm going to write this contract and it's going to be like very important. So I'm going to use this old paper so it already looks important, like it had been aged for some time.
The business prospects of that is actually very well thought out. I would actually even consider to buy some of this old parchment for my own writings. Make something look very official and old and very antique. Yes, that would be an interesting prospect. So if you were to ever think of selling some of that old paper of yours, someone like me would like to purchase some, just for the fun of it.
Oh, I would just give it to you, Bartholomew. You can have some old paper if you want.
Well, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Sadie, you are very kind. Thank you so much for being my friend. Would you like to join us on trying to find out about this job flyer to see if we can help somebody?
Okay, but I don't know if they okay. All right. She's like, this was written longer than a human lifespan ago based on this ink's age. Sure, yeah, let's do it. She's not going to argue. Okay, so 113 East Martello. Do we know where that is in Once Upon... Well, I mean, we know where Once Upon a Time is, right? So we can like go there. All right, we head out, guys?
As you head out...
So we can... Go ahead. Are we walking or like taking a horse or something? Or... I don't think they are necessarily in a hurry. If this is so old, we can walk, maybe?
And how far away is Once Upon a Time? That's nearby Nicomoy, I assume?
It's a bit northwest. You follow the Imu River, and then the Atime River is like a branch off of that, and it's a little bit west. So, I mean, it's a while. But so I know Alistair could take us there if we could all fit on one horse, or we could take multiple horses or something like that.
In fact, Bartholomew, I believe you would remember that I believe it's northwest of Pine Drake.
Oh, even further north than Pine Drake.
East.
Interesting. Northeast.
Oh, sorry.
Not that I care. I don't care. But we do have a map. So I just thought I don't care, though. You can put wherever, but technically it's east.
Thank you.
Well, I'll head on, saddle up onto Alistair and make my way there. What will you two do?
I cannot keep up with the horse. So I suppose I will be getting another horse. Are there stables close by? No, that is foolish. Hold on. I will say there is a stable close by that the fire-breathing kittens frequent very often. And I will say, excuse me, stable keeper, fire-breathing kittens business. Can I use the any available stallion for me and another one for my friend Sadie? And we are going on an adventure.
Sadie gets out like $200. I don't know how much a horse rental costs. Sounds about right. $500? I don't know. It'll be a few days.
It's like you put your hands out like this with a pile of money in it, and you just say, just take whatever it is. I don't know.
I'll put it on Nulasag's tab. Make sure you bring him back in good condition.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to pick a horse the color of cinnamon, because that sounds like the right kind of horse to have today. So I get a cinnamon horse. And Sadie, what kind of horse you getting?
Brown horse, white boots, white blaze.
Very nice. You have like a riding outfit? Well, I know you are very well educated in your finer things. Like your family has a lot of access to riding lessons and things like that. And so you probably have the whole riding outfit. So that is cool. I just had the one outfit all the time. I watch it sometimes, but it's the same outfit.
Oh, actually, Cinnamon Sticks comes with a complimentary cowboy hat.
It's your cowboy hat.
I'm not a big fan of hats because it interferes with my sword fighting. But while I am on the horse, I will wear the hat. But once I'm off the horse, the hat is off.
Well, that's good because he kicks off anybody who doesn't wear a hat.
I thank you for telling me that. That would have been.
It's a horse hat.
You wear the hat on the horse.
I accept the hat and I put it on my head right away. And then I get on the cinnamon horse.
Bartholomew sees you put on the hat and says, "Why, you look very dashing with the hat on."
I appreciate it. I mean, it is not really my style, but, I try.
That gives me the idea. Maybe you should try different hats and see what works with your style.
I will have to come and visit the different horses. Maybe different horse, different hat. Try it out or something like that. But again, for sword fighting, it is an obstacle. It is like a hindrance. And I don't want a hat. I know you wear a hat and it looks very good on you. And I know it probably keeps the sun out of your eyes when you're shooting. But we're different people. I don't know. Okay, that is all to say I will consider it because you are my friend. And I don't want to reject a suggestion from a friend just because I am too stubborn,
Stable master, is there a hat for this horse?
I'm afraid the only other pack animal I have that comes with a hat is old Duncan over there.
And you see a large mule, and there's like a jester's cap set on a shelf above his table.
Oh, that's really too bad. And she heads out.
Sadie, you have your own hat. Is that correct? Or can we go get you a hat before we take off?
I think based upon this game, it looks like I'm wearing a red robe with like crystals in it, and I like that. So I think I would have done that. And it has like a hood. So I got the hood pulled up. I'm looking at the cleric
Okay.
character description. So I pull my red... Oh, it's like Little Red Riding Hood on me. And I pull my hood up.
That is perfect for riding. It is a riding hood.
Oh, Red Riding Hood. Let's go.
All right. As you guys head off toward Once Upon a Time, the weather is quite foggy and rather unpleasant. The wind is howling rather hard, and it's kind of dreary.
This weather is familiar from my home. Foggy and in the forest here. We are in the forest, you said, correct? Or did I just assume?
I think the pathway is along the river, and it is on each side of the river there are trees. So it is wooded. It is not like a dense forest, like an old growth forest or anything like that. But yeah, I think it's a sparsely populated forest.
Mm-hmm. And I did remember being told that Once Upon a Time is on the way past my home village.
To the east, not that there's a map. But there is a map. It is to the
I don't have a map up. I'm trying to think.
So for clarification for the listener and everything, I travel quite a bit because, as a mercenary, you never know where you're going to be. Mm. So Nicamoy is in one place, and like northwest of that is Once Upon a Time, and then west of that is Pine Drake.
I see.
And the forest is much more thick in Pine Drake.
Mm-hmm. But the fog is definitely similar.
Yeah, this is like pea soup or something like that.
Oh, yes.
But with a little bit of effort and some friendly chat amongst you and your friends, you eventually make it to your destination, the road outside of 113 East Martello. There you find a grand manse with cracked stained glass windows, a very poorly maintained and overgrown garden, and a crumbling exterior. Standing outside, perusing and looking over the outside of this manse, you see an elderly halfling with gray hair, wearing a blue work apron over a white linen shirt, white breeches, and black boots. He seems to be kind of puttering about, just kind of looking at different things on the grounds. The gates before the mansion as well, I might mention, say the Cromwell, or it just says Cromwell Manor.
The first thing Bartholomew notices is the large sign with the words Cromwell Manor, as you just said. And then he looks down at the man hobbling around, a halfling with the graying hair and the blue work apron, and notices immediately that it's Gideon. He yells out to him, "Gideon, it's me, Bartholomew, old friend. How are you? And what are you doing all the way out here?"
Hey there, old chap. I came to once upon a time to trade for some silver. I rather like working with silver, and I made that fine pocket watch for you.
Oh, Bartholomew stutters and hopes he doesn't ask to see it. Yes, that pocket watch I hold so dearly.
Well, I just happened to stumble upon this estate, and I saw a big hubbub as many people rushed inside, and I thought I might go inside and investigate. I stepped inside briefly, and I was admiring some gargoyle statues inside when I heard some strange noises and quite spooked me, and I found my way back outside immediately.
Oh, Gideon, we're here on behalf of a flyer that is rather old and asks us to come investigate this place that was besieged by some horrible fiends and that they needed help. So I assume not going in there right now.
One thing I happen to remember as I was fleeing the foyer of this manse is, I believe the Cromwells had some dealings with the nobles of Summerfell.
Bartholomew's eyes widen and he perks up and he says, "Well, that's very good information. I believe fate has brought me to the fire-breathing kittens to lead me here. I've been hoping to find some lead on that for years, as you've known."
Well, I'm certain you'll get to the bottom of it, old chap. I might go have myself a spot of tea and warm these old bones up. Stay safe. And
yes, indeed.
Please.
Same to you, Gideon, and make your way back to the city where it's safe.
Please, if you would.
Wait a minute before.
Oh, sorry.
Before you go, Gideon, hello, my name is Armando Contenda Belano Medimici. I'm a friend of Bartholomew. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I have a question for you. Why are you in this town? Are you from this town, number one? It's very suspicious to me, that you are just wandering around this crumbling manor. That is not a place for, I would not expect somebody, especially if they are from out of town. I have not heard your answer yet, so I assume you're from out of town. Why are you here? And then you see like a hubbub, and so you investigate, and you don't seem like as scared as I would have anticipated, like if there was a sound that was very frightening that caused you to flee. What's going on with you? And Armando looked at him very suspiciously.
And Bartholomew look over at Armando, a bit perturbed by how he's talking to his good friend Gideon, but he knows that Armando is good at weaseling things out like this. Maybe he's onto something that he doesn't know.
I don't know if I appreciate we thought. Investigation, like a
maybe that's
master
the wrong
detective or something is better than like
maybe
a weasel.
I used the wrong word, not weaseling out. No,
that's okay. No. I understand. Your heart is in the right place.
I'm trying to think of the right wording, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I didn't even hear that. That's like internal monologue for you, so it's not even a factor for me. But I'm just saying, I'm more like a tiger.
But long story short, he knows that Armando's good at spotting details that Bartholomew's not so privy to.
A person might find themselves chasing a fancy that perhaps doesn't lead them in the best direction, and I'm prone to that even with my old age, that curiosity caught upon me, and I thought I might follow the crowd, but turns out that that's not for me, and I don't necessarily appreciate the fifth degree. I thought my friend Bartholomew here, you thought I might be treated with a little more respect than that.
Well, you should have. He's trying to apologize for for Armando here and his you see, in the Fire Breathing Kittens, we deal with a lot of, well, shady figures. I mean, it's it's good that we have someone here with us asking these kinds of questions. I've run into many dangers on my adventures. It's good to have someone like Armando.
Gideon, I do not mean to be like insulting you. Okay, number one. So you may be a very good friend of Bartholomew, but I come from a world, not directly, but indirectly. I witnessed a lot of intrigue, a lot of backstabbing, and people are on the take. And so you could be like the best friend of Bartholomew, but all of a sudden, like, hey, now I'm going to stab him in the back. And then I am his friend, and you are his friend, I assume. You understand how a friend would be protective of another friend, would you not? You should be asking me the same question too, you know? You just met me. What am I doing here on a horse that is cinnamon color?
And that hat doesn't quite look right upon your head.
I knew it. You're right. You're right. I am not a hat wearer.
It seems to be made for a much smaller man's head.
It is too small for my head, but apparently if I do not wear it, the horse kick me off.
Bartholomew starts sweating because he realizes his false compliment has been seen right through his good, honest friend Gideon. And now he's worried that Armando will catch on. He was just trying to be friendly and good.
No,
Well,
it's okay. I appreciate your attention to detail. Go ahead, Gideon.
Well, there, Armando, you know, you might have had me right if I were 20 years younger. I used to get up to quite a few shenanigans back in my day, but I believe I've quite settled down since then, and I don't think you need anything to worry about this old man.
So my eyes will dart from Gideon to Bartholomew and back again, like back and forth like this. And I will see that on Bartholomew's face, he is very much a little uncomfortable at this potential conflict, this tension. But I can see this is his good friend. What am I doing messing around? I say, okay, Gideon, I'm sorry. I like to check things out. Of course, Sadie is with us, and I feel a personal obligation to protect this lady. I mean, she is very capable herself. They don't just let anybody into the fire-breathing kitten. At least I don't think so. So, just trying to make sure everything is on the up and up. While I am talking to you, though, can you tell me more about these sounds you hear from inside?
Well, I was taking a look at the sculptures inside, these gargoyles, and I heard some interesting noises. I couldn't quite place them, and I thought perhaps I had misheard, but I decided I quite rather didn't want to stick around to find the source of these noises. It sounded as if the house itself perhaps was hungry, or perhaps something was unsettling the foundation.
GM, are we at 113 East Martello?
Yeah, I might not have described that well.
And the house, looks unoccupied, right?
Well, I would say yes, it looks like it's been unoccupied for some time. If you guys would like to inspect the exterior a little more, you might need to make an ability check or something, but you might could glean some more information.
So Armando is thinking that this is a very old house in shambles, It's not in very good shape. And our flyer is very old with the ink that is also very old. So I'm getting this thinking of suspicion, I hope we are not too late. But I think we are too late.
I mean,
but
the question we gotta ask is, how'd the flyer end up on the board?
Perhaps it was a recent addition to the board. I mean, I've never seen that flyer there before. Perhaps it was someone that is even I can't fathom to think of what it could be. It could be anything. I have run into many weird things on my adventures here.
Well, do you guys want to visit the town hall and see what the status of the date of 113 East Martello is?
That sounds like a good idea.
When you say town hall, the mayor or something like that to investigate this address, or do you want to go inside this building?
The town hall, the one that has the record of all the deeds and mortgages, to see if a payment was made recently on the property, to see if there's a lien on the, maybe we can purchase it. I mean, I could purchase it, and to see what's going on here. Sometimes one of the ways that we elves make a lot of money is that we outlast residents and step in at opportune times.
So this is like an investment opportunity for you, right? I mean, I can see that.
It's such an opportunity.
No, yeah, it's basic fixer-upper, for sure. To be honest, Sadie, I'm tired of wearing this hat that is too small for my head. So I would like to get off my horse, and we can walk to the town hall, but I kind of want to investigate the gargoyles to see what this sound is. It's like a tummy rumbling or something, according to Gideon. And so, can we do that first since we are here, and then maybe go to the town hall, and then we can do whatever financial transaction you are thinking of? Like, that is above my head completely. I'm not a financial wizard like you. But can we just do just a little bit of check out right now? I look to both you and Bartholomew, because we are a team. This is like a democracy. I'm not trying to steamroll anybody.
Well, I'm in vote of going to the town hall to find out who the current residents are and see if we can't link it up with this job flyer we just got. Maybe we can find out a bit of what's going on here with this old parchment with old ink coming in just now recently.
Okay, so I will accept both of your suggestions, and I will adjust the little hat on my head so the horse does not kick me off, and then we can make our way to the town hall.
All right, you guys make your way to... Well, before you walk off, Gideon looks to Bartholomew and says, Bartholomew, if you wouldn't mind sending me the next copy of The Inspirer, I quite like reading your poetry.
Oh, I've got one copy right here. And he hands it to you.
Much appreciated. And come back sometime. Come visit. I quite like your company.
Oh, yes, much obliged. I will visit as often as I can.
So he parts ways with you as you guys head towards the town hall. You find a quite nondescript local government building. Not really, no frills sort of, two-story building. And you find yourselves to the reception desk inside, where you find a half-elven, rather bored-looking, bespectacled secretary. It says Annalisa Poddingham as her nameplate, secretary of the town hall. That's her official title.
Hello? Hi?
Yes, how can I help you?
I was wondering if you could direct me to the property records. I'm looking to purchase an abandoned building on East Martello.
East Martello. I'll tell you what, I will head you in that direction. And she stands up very slowly and leads you down, slowly walks you to a very large back room filled with large filing cabinets. Have at it. And then she leaves you there.
Okay, what are the labels on the front of the filing cabinet? Aw, this is some D&D here. Yeah.
Property records. And then I would say that there are large sections based on 50-year increments, perhaps. And maybe there's also a separate set of files for transaction histories.
Ooh, they're not geographically based, so I can't just search for East Martello.
And I believe, I think this is a good time for a check to see if you guys can find what you're looking for. So perhaps knowledge. No, let me look at the attribute descriptions again. It was will, charisma, knowledge.
Is this willpower? Because you gotta not be bored?
Yeah, I think so. Because knowledge would be if you are trying to delve your knowledge of a certain thing, but you have no knowledge, so you're trying to find it. So I would say will to see if you can.
Okay, well, I'm a cleric, so I got lots of will. I got 5 dice of will. So one of those was a 6.
All right. So with a 6, you find that the former, we'll say the last record of the property at 113 East Martello changing hands was from an individual named Bertrand Cromwell. Hold on, let me look at my notes. To another individual named Strickland Cromwell. Strickland.
How long ago was that? And was it a inheritance or a purchase?
It was an inheritance, and it was like 100 years ago, roughly.
Ooh, does it say any information about the Cromwells, like if they're human or like, because 100-year-old deed, I'm thinking that's up for grabs. Like, if this was a human 100 years ago, this would be an empty property. But if this is an elf, this is, so.
He was in pretty bad shape, You may be in luck.
I don't think there would necessarily need to be. That's a good question.
Who officiated this document? What law firm or notary in town?
I know this sounds to be more like an artistic community, so I am unsure whether there is like a notary or whatever, but I have only been here like a handful of times.
Roll me. I'll tell you what, you're in luck. It just so happens to be Annalisa Pottingham.
Ayo, lots of people have notary skills. All right, I take the document to the receptionist, and I stand there awkwardly for like a good 5 minutes, and then I work up my nerve, and I approach the receptionist desk, and I say, excuse me?
Yes, how can I help you, young lady?
It looks like you were the notary on this deed, and I just wanted to ask you some questions about Strickland Cromwell. See here? I point to the name. Do you remember them?
She reaches down and is like gathering a sandwich and like seems to have poured herself some tea. And she looks at you and she's like, I believe I'm going to have to get back to you on that. It is my lunch break.
When is your lunch break over? Like, is this going to be a long time, like we need to leave and come back? Or is it only when you have the conclusion of this sandwich?
You could stay here. I have a few more sandwiches.
And she goes to grab more sandwiches out.
Oh, at this point, I'm in for a sandwich. Like, what are we eating?
I don't mind a sandwich. Like, if I'm going to wait, I might as well,
It's like liverwurst.
Ooh.
With some like pickled vegetables of unknown origin.
I love this. Sadie is 718. You know she likes old person food.
I would say that they go for the gut, but like there are better solutions.
Oh man, she starts talking about recipes that are so gross, like boiled meat. Oh man, she's bonding with it. Right, I'm assuming that the receptionist, Annalisa Pottingham, is kind of elderly, right?
Yeah, she's elderly.
Aspic. I love aspic. Do you know the last time I had a good aspic?
All right, I'll tell you what. I know that this probably isn't your main stat, but make a charisma check with advantage.
Woo, I get 2 dice. That did not help. That is a fail. That's a 4 and a 3. I'm going to send you guys some pictures of aspic in the group chat. It is gelatin, like clear gelatin with like tuna suspended in it.
Well, my grandmother gave me a recipe for some herring aspic, and I quite loved it as a young child, and I passed it on to my own grandchildren. However, they never seemed to make it, and it hurt my heart to know that they would not use my recipe.
May I please have your recipe?
Of course, dear. I'd love to give it to you.
During this discussion of very disgusting food, my mustache is twitching a little bit. And so I turn to Bartholomew, who is a very young man, and I say, look, this is gross. And I know you agree with me. But I think I see a $1 next door. You want, we go outside, get a coffee or something, come back?
Agreed. Yes, a coffee does sound nice. And not listening to this talk of gelatinous fish sounds like a good idea. Anything except that. Let's go.
Sadie, we trust your capable hands, metaphorical hands. We're going to grab a coffee. You want one? And do you want one, ma'am?
No, the coffee quite hurts my delicate digestion, and I quite end up spending most of my time in the toiletries afterward.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we got it. Sadie, you want a coffee or something like that?
Sure, thank you.
Okay. So me and Bartholomew, we leave for a little bit. We go get a coffee, and we get one for Sadie too.
All right. That's easily done. Might I ask what type of coffee you go to get?
There is a coffee. There is a recipe called a Blue Flame. And so I'm getting what you call a Blue Flame. It is a very special coffee. I'm trying to remember what exactly it is, but that is what I'm ordering because that is my go-to.
Mm-hmm. While at this coffee shop with Moondala, I'd like to visit some of its wares and look for little trinkets. Maybe I can find a good novelty coffee mug or some kind of new writing quills.
Is there a particular type of mug you're looking for?
Anything special that I haven't seen yet in other towns. It's just a little collectible knickknacks I like to find in town.
You find a mug that says "Once upon a time," and then it shows like a quaint picture of the town, and then underneath it says like "The Untold Story" or something like that.
Oh, this seems very novel and very, very interesting. I haven't gotten one like this yet. I'll take it.
Is there, aside from coffee, is there anything you want to do in the Moondollar, Armando?
I'm sorry, a Blue Flame. It was not a Blue Flame, it was the Blue Fire. I want to clarify. I want to get 2 Blue Fire, one for me, one for Sadie. And then I'm not one to be magnanimous traditionally, but I would say, Bartholomew, I would love to buy you a coffee.
Well, I certainly would appreciate it. And I see you're buying some coffee flavor I've never tried before, Blue Fire?
Blue Fire is a venti orange mocha with a soy milk. Easy on the cream. You pour the cream in the first, and then 3/4 of the coffee, and then finally the rest of the cream. And then to be made properly, it has to be very foamy on top. So that is a Blue Fire.
Well, I'll let you in on a secret, Armando. I've only drinking black coffee in my life, and I've never tried any flavored coffees like that before. This would be a wonderful time to try one.
This is going to blow your mind. I mean, honestly.
Armando, as they call your name and you approach to get your coffees, you happen to bump shoulders with an individual, a human male wearing white short-sleeve dress shirt, khaki pants with suspenders, and a white fedora. He seems to be in his middle years. He quite looks familiar to you, like someone you haven't seen in a long time. And you hear him say, I told you I wanted my coffee hot, piping hot. And the beans you're using are terrible.
This sounds a lot like my cousin. Federico, is this you? It's me, Armando.
Armando! It is I, Federico Condensa Belasno de Medici. It's so good to see you. How are your parents?
Fortunately, they are dead. As you know, they are terrible people. I hope this is not too much of a blow for you. I don't know what your relationship was with them, but as you know, mine was pretty awful with them. How are you doing? You look great.
Oh, I'm doing fine. I wish the coffee were much better here at this Moondollar, forsaken Moondollar. I wish they could get their act together. I'm quite alarmed at how poorly they make their coffee.
I understand. I know you were always that. I have very a few memories with you because we see each other so infrequently. But one thing I remember is, 1, you like your coffee piping hot, and 2, you are very particular about your coffee. So I knew immediately it was you.
How great of you to remember me, your cousin, your long lost cousin. I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's so good to see you.
Yes, I became mayor here quite a few days ago, and it's been pretty good so far. But we've been having trouble with this haunted mansion. People come from all around, say we want to see the haunted mansion.
Wait a minute. This haunted mansion, it wouldn't happen to be... Excuse me, I need to turn in my notes. It wouldn't happen to be at 113 East Martello Street?
That's correct. It has been a thorn in my side, causing all kinds of trouble. People run screaming sometimes, and, it has brought a little bit of tourism, but the dollars don't count for the negative press.
I understand. So, I have a friend, Sadie. She is, I think, trying to buy this property. Do you know if it is for sale? Or, if the living relative, is there anybody that has claim to this? Because she is going to... I think she has a lot of money, so she's ready to pay. But is the person alive that she needs to talk to get this property? And we will check out the haunted mansion. That sounds like a wonderful adventure. Am I right, Bartholomew?
Yes, I do agree. This haunted mansion, we have already been there and looked inside. Looked inside from outside. And we've seen people gathering and looking inside and hearing strange noises. And yes, we would very much like to investigate.
It's the strangest thing. The last owner, Bertrand Cromwell, he left the whole thing to his doll. But people are so afraid of the doll, they don't want to even enter the premises until now. And the doll creeps them out and they just run away. And it's caught up in some paperwork nightmare. And I didn't even think it was legal to leave a property to an inanimate object.
A doll? How
See,
peculiar.
this is why you write down stuff on the deed. Doll. Just saying.
Would you say this is a creepy doll?
It's very creepy. I don't know why anybody want to be around it.
That sounds... Well, I mean, if you're going to leave it to a doll, you might as well leave it to a creepy doll. That makes sense a little bit in its own weird way, I'll tell you what. We're going to go back with Sadie because I want to make sure she gets this blue fire before it gets too cold. We'll check out this haunted mansion and maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe she can buy it from the creepy doll, or maybe she can buy the creepy doll and then de facto she owns the manor. That sounds like a solution that works for everybody. And then plus size, she got a creepy doll.
I'll tell you what, I'll see if I can dig up the deed for you. You're my cousin.
Yeah, we're next door at the records office. We're having... There's a conversation of the worst sandwiches. I know you are very particular with your taste. If that's what I remember about you, you like the very flavorful things. You don't want to be here for this conversation. Annalisa Pottingham? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, so she's lovely. However, you got to mark off a whole day if you want to do anything with her. She take forever. Lunch breaks.
Can you come?
Extended
exactly.
Lunch breaks.
She's on her lunch break right now. Can you come over with us and kind of facilitate things? Maybe speed things along so we can, to help my friend Sadie?
I'll tell you what, it's a shame about your parents, but they were quite rude to me on many occasions. So you come have a drink with me sometime and I will help you with this.
I would like that very much. I as you can understand, my connection to family is not very strong because of my parents. But that is something I would like to correct. I mean, you seem like a very stand-up man. You were elected mayor for after all. And so maybe that is something we can explore a little bit more. But I do want to help my friend. So we're going to go back over there. Bartholomew, is there anything you want to do in this Moon Dollar while we are here besides talk to my... Did I introduce you? I'm sorry. I was so rude. I was so overwhelmed by meeting you. Federico, this is my good friend Bartholomew. We are in the Fire-Breathing Kittens together. And Bartholomew, this is my... I have not seen my cousin in ages. This is Federico Contenza Villasno de Medici.
Oh, it's nice to meet you, Mayor Federico. And one thing I wanted to ask you. You know about this haunted mansion, and you know about the Bertrand Cromwell leaving it to the doll. Do you remember the doll has a name? I know it's a very peculiar ask and a peculiar question.
Yes, I believe it was a Strickland Cromwell. I believe, it was a very shady dealing. I don't think it was widely publicized that it was a doll at the time, but until someone went to go check on the property and came calling, and there's a doll sitting in the grand room there, and is very unusual.
Very unusual indeed. Oh, and by the way, this is our first meet together, and you're the cousin of a good friend of mine. I'd like to have one of these. And he hands him this flyer of the Inspirer. And read over this. I'm sure you'll be inspired. I've written poetry. There's current events going on in Nicomoy that you might want to read about. And on the back, there's a crossword puzzle.
Oh, it's amazing. I love a good crossword puzzle. And I love
Everyone does.
I love your uniform. It's very, very, keen.
Yes, well, thank you very much. It is my regimental uniform from my cavalry division back home.
All right, well, you should check on your friend.
I was just thinking the same thing. I mean, I have two hands and I'm holding 2 cups of coffee. I have not had a taste of either one. So I'm going to go back. And thank you, ciao. It's so good to see you, Federico. I will catch up with you later and have a drink. Bartholomew, I think this is good information for Sadie. Like, a doll owning this is crazy. I mean, I don't say that too loud in case the doll is listening. Anyway,
I don't blame you.
Yeah, you never know. Like, we go next door and we find Sadie talking about something probably pretty gross with the lady, and I set, like, while she is in the middle of conversation, I set the coffee in front of her so she can have it at her leisure.
Yes, and I'd like to try this coffee for myself. The first cup of coffee that isn't just straight black coffee to keep myself awake during grueling hours of being a watchman at home. And he takes a sip of it and is like, whoa, that's like a dessert. Well, thank you very much. Compared to normal coffee, this is a treat.
It's like candy coffee, you know? And like, you gotta graduate to black coffee if you're like a kid, because like you're in the yummy phase and you only wanted like candy and things that taste good. This is kind of the coffee drink for people that are in that phase. And then eventually they get older and they get more serious, and maybe like cream is too expensive or something like that. So, or you're trying to put your kid through college, and so you buy black coffee. And so right now, this is living it up. You know what I mean?
Well, that's an interesting way of being raised. He says kind of nervously and completely out of touch with the way he was raised, fighting zombies his entire life and needing to drink anything to keep himself awake, to keep himself alert. But he takes it in strides as this is something normal people do, and he's glad to be out and about experiencing these new things. And this was very much a treat for him, something he'll much enjoy in the future.
And that's when I met my 4th husband, Robertamundo. He had quite a habit of drawing on his name at the end there.
Oh my, well, with a vinegar pie recipe like that, I don't know how he could have resisted.
Bartholomew
Look on your face. Vinegar pie.
I think I see, to get that vinegar pie idea out of my head, I just take a tip of the blue fire.
Oh, I've got a recipe for you from the 1930s. Anyway, it's been so long since I've had delicious vinegar pie like this. Man, no wonder. I mean, even after they all kept dying like that, you were able to get another husband. That's just wonderful.
Now,
so they all died? All 4 of them?
Well, I don't quite like to talk about that. Some things just, keep to your private life.
I'm in an arranged marriage, like beforehand time period right now, and they're arranging me to marriage like a long-lived species. And I gotta say, I do like the idea of him not dying, because people just drop dead all the time. It's ridiculous.
One day you make them a nice cake, and the next day you find them and they're stone cold in bed.
It's awful. You gotta get an elf partner, really. I mean, that's where it's at. Then they last a little longer.
Oh, That's
I just
a good
keep
idea.
sipping my blue fire because it's like, I don't want to get involved in this conversation at all.
I'm sipping blue fire from my novelty cup, thinking to myself, he eats a cake one night and then wakes up dead the next morning. You don't have to be a professional sleuth to understand what happened there. And then I take a sip.
I have an
Yeah,
antidote, and I've been like waiting for when I'm going to use it. And I'm like, do I use it right now? I started the game with one antidote, so I'm just saying, like, if I suddenly drop dead, put it in my mouth. All right. Anyway, so about this Strickland Cromwell, now that we're done eating.
Oh, Strickland Cromwell. You know, he was a lovely little chap. He had a nice little naval uniform, and he was quite polite when I met him.
So at the sound of a Strickland Cromwell, I jump in and I say, hey, Sadie. I'm whispering to Sadie. Even though, I think Annalisa probably already knows. I say, hey, Sadie, a Strickland Cromwell is a creepy doll. It's not a person at all. It is a doll.
Oh, I was kind of hoping you'd just tell me he was a doll, and I'd be like, oh, you're a doll. Oh, we're all dolls. Okay. All right. A creepy doll, though.
But did you look? And I pull out the flyer. It's like the flyer says be a doll. Like it says be a doll to us. Because I think it is a doll. Or this is very weird. Okay?
Oh, what does the letter say exactly? Because I didn't write down every word for word. Just
I'm going to read it again in the GM's voice.
Fire-breathing kittens, I am being harassed by some very rude ne'er-do-wells who have imposed their presence upon my beloved family estate. I find myself unable to even walk the grounds of my own domicile and have been restricted to a very undesirable living situation. Please help save me from these raffish individuals who impress their unwelcome presence upon my manse. Be a doll and provide me with a helping hand. I can provide you with a reward worthy of your aid.
It sounds like the writer got turned into a doll.
I do the head explosion gesture.
That would be a very unfortunate circumstance, being turned into a doll. Anyway, so, a naval uniform, you say? That is quite impressive. Have they served?
Well, I believe it was more like a sailor suit you might put on a young child, and had the dainty little cap and a blue kind of bolo-ish necktie, perhaps, and some short pants. And he could caper about, he was quite a little dancer. It was very entertaining.
At the sound of the sailor cap, Armando is going to remove his hat that is too small for his head that he forgot to take out when he got off the horse.
Are we talking about Pinocchio, or are we talking about a small child, or like, man, this is funny. I'm just, okay, I got to narrow this down. I'm throwing darts at a dartboard. Like, do I ask if when she shook his hand she got splinters, or do I ask if, like, oh man, this is good. This is like a logic puzzle.
So if I look, I'm going to point at the flyer at both Bartholomew and Sadie and say, look, they're trapped in some kind of living condition. I think this is like a dollhouse or something. Somebody was left, or maybe like at the bottom of the cellar, Like, and the doll doesn't want to be in the cellar. The doll wants to be like in the sunshine. So maybe the sound that they are hearing from the house is the doll saying, get me out of the cellar. It's too dark in here. Or I don't know, something like, I don't know what dolls sound like. But that is what I imagine is happening.
All I can think is that if we retrieve this doll and it can speak to us, the residents here are linked to Summerfell Mansion. Specifically, the residents of Summerfell Mansion, the nobles that lived there when it was liberated 100 years ago. So I would believe this doll or this resident of that mansion would know something about Summerfell. I am very inclined to want to rescue this doll from the mansion.
Did it sound like when you talked to Strickland that maybe they knew another manor like Summerfell? Were they very talkative? I asked her.
Well, he was very polite, and as I said, he liked to dance about sometimes, and He signed the paperwork, and I didn't ask too many questions. It seemed quite odd, but I ended up walking away with quite a hefty paycheck at the end of the day, and I wasn't, going to press him or ask too many questions.
So at the sound of this, I lean into Sadie and Bartholomew are going to say, where does the doll get all this money for a hefty paycheck? This is very suspicious.
And why would this woman take so much money from a child for something very legal and something very important like transferring the deed? This is all sounding very strange.
I think she is on the take. If the price is right, anything is legal. Am I right with these government officials?
I'm going to hope you guys are talking really quiet.
Oh, yeah, this is all in a whisper. Like to the side with Bartholomew.
Okay, so how recent was their last property tax payment?
Their payments come quite regularly, actually. They are always sent in an envelope and passed on to us, and the bank, transfers the amount that is requested, and we get the payments quite promptly.
All right, well, I guess this house is not for sale. Well, I'll be leaving with my friends here. Thank you for chatting with me, and then I can talk to you guys, and you guys can tell me it's haunted and that we can intervene, because otherwise it just all seems on the up and up. All right. Hey, friends.
I will share with Sadie and Bartholomew. I say, that is why I camp in a tent, because property tax is a big scam. You never really own property. You are like renting it from the government, and if you don't pay, they take it from you like that.
Very.
That is just my opinion.
Mm.
I didn't mean to get like all real, but maybe we should go check out the haunted mansion and find the doll.
Agreed.
Oh, but I mean, it sounds like they're paying all their property taxes. Have you guys told me about the complaints, the noise violations?
Oh. I think you were there when Gideon was saying it's like all loud or whatever. But I will say, I met my cousin in a coffee shop. Apparently, he like the mayor of this whole town. And he was saying that the place that we're checking out is a haunted mansion. And there's all kind of visitors. And yes, it's good for the local economy, for tourism and everything. But it's still like a concern for the community. And there is sounds all the time coming from this place. So I don't know if it is a strickling person or a doll or like a spirit that is lingering, but I think you are the best equipped person to negotiate like a settlement where you can acquire the property and maybe build it up. It could be like a B&B. It could be very nice. They have a croissant for breakfast or something like that. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, Haunted Mansion. We should check it out.
It definitely lowers the purchasing price to have something like that going on. Let's go. So I'm going back to the mansion, which I can buy at a discount now that I know that it's had noise complaints recently against it. But, GM, when we stand outside the house...
Yes.
Is the lawn mowed?
No, I specifically said the grounds were quite disheveled and ill repair. I said overgrown garden and crumbling exterior.
All right. And we know the mayor.
Yes.
Okay. Out of character. You guys, if you don't maintain your sidewalk, is the sidewalk, like, does it have grass over it? Sticks?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know about once upon a time, but in real life, if you don't maintain the appearance, the facade, and the sidewalk, the city can, like, give you fines and seize your property.
That's true, like, for, like, a normal house, though. But this is a mansion. And there is no sidewalk that is right by a mansion. The sidewalk is very far. You don't want, like, the riffraff going through your big, fancy house. You know what I mean? So it's, like, sidewalk way over there. And then probably, like, a big fence, like wrought iron with a pointy spikes at the top. And then on the interior, it is like all overgrown grass and garden that is all out of shape and everything. So I don't know.
Okay. Do we have any right to approach this place, you guys?
Gideon was standing right there. I think everybody can go inside. I mean, if Gideon can go inside, we can go inside.
And I would assume that if we were to get in trouble, the mayor will back us up.
He did tell us to investigate. I'm not one to abuse relationships, okay? That is very important to me. Like, I don't want to be special or whatever. Like, I know the mayor. But he did task us with, we should check it out. And we have a flyer. Like, and I showed the flyer. It's like, this is our path inside.
Okay, Armando, I guess I'll follow you. Because, like, if you're holding a flyer and walking up to the front door, I'll follow behind you. But, be polite.
Of course, I am very honorable. I would never do anything to besmirch the name of Sadie, Bartholomew, myself, or the fire-breathing kittens. So that's just so you know.
Okay, thank you for being polite because, some people are humans and some people are elves and some people are dolls.
I never hear of a doll person. So this is like a first for me, but like, hey, the day is young, you know what I mean? Let's find out. And so we walk to the door, and I knock on the door, knock, 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 knock. 5 knocks, boom, 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 boom.
No one answers.
First, I want to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I want to see if anybody answers. I think you were answering the fact that nobody was answering.
Nobody answers. However, you feel the door give a little as if it's like latched, but like you feel like it's not locked or anything if you wanted to open it.
I do want to open it, but I respect property rights. And so, like I say, hello, is anybody there? You fire-breathing kitten, we have your flyer. And I wiggle the flyer so the paper sound make it like a sound, not like quite like thunder, but, like, anyway. So enough so I establish a presence outside of the door. And so then I'm saying, okay, we're coming in. We're trying to investigate what's going on. Can we help you? And so I open the door. And so as we open the door, what does it look like on the inside of the mansion?
Cobwebs everywhere. But after entering the double doors, you find yourself, or after you open the double doors, you see the foyer, 2 large staircases wind down 2 sides of this room. The ceiling is an impressive tiled dome, with the 4 corners kind of creating a line to the center of the dome, punctuated by 4 gargoyle statues, 1 in each corner, 2 of which are striking an intriguing pose. There's a door to the right passing beneath the staircase, as well as a long hall ahead of you lined with portraits. In the distance, you hear, it's not very loud, but you hear voices and kind of, as if you walked into a house where a party was happening. Do you know what I mean? You hear some distant voices and chit-chat going on down that hall with the portraits.
I look at Bartholomew and Sadie and say, this is a very old house. I think we might be too late to answer this flyer, but I think it gives it permission to be here and investigate, find out about the doll. What do you want to do?
Can you call really loudly? Hello?
Wait,
yeah,
was that?
is
I have a question for Sadie. Was that Sadie actually being loud, or was that her attempt at being loud?
Demonstrating, but her voice can't do that.
Okay, that's why I wanted to make sure. That might not be a good idea, Sadie. Do you hear that in the distance? And he puts his ear up and he hears, as you described, some conversation, some drowned out in the distance. There may be some people here or some entities here we don't want to disturb. So calling up might not be a good idea. We're here to retrieve that doll.
No, we're not.
I have an idea.
What?
No, we are here to solve, this could be like the riffraff that the people are talking about. It's like, hey, people keep coming to my house. I want to get rid of them. We are here at the behest of a Strickland Cromwell. That is the appropriate owner of this house and potentially the person that is going to sell this place to a Sadie. So we want to be on a good foot, what is the word I'm looking for? We want to have a good rapport with them. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Sadie's advice and say, I'm going to shout. I'm going to say, excuse me, I'm looking for a Strickland Cromwell. Real loud, like all the way down the hallway.
It could be Bertrand you're looking for.
Or potentially Bertrand. We are not, we have no preference. Either Cromwell is fine. Like that.
Armando, as you say this, you hear, you're not certain that everybody would hear this, but you hear like a faint, in here. And you feel like it's off to the right.
I look quickly like, hey, Bartholomew, Sadie, did you hear that?
Indeed, I'd heard that.
No.
So it was like a little whisper. It say, in here. And I point to the right. It's like, I think he was coming from over there. I don't know why they're whispering though. Maybe they're in trouble or something. So we should probably be in a hurry. And so I start walking to the right, like from where I hear the sound.
GM, real quick. Are the gargoyles doing anything as we move forward?
No, they are not moving. The main thing you notice is that two of them seem to be in like a very basic, like, kind of like kneeling pose. And then there's two that have a very different pose. Like one has its eyes covered and one has its ears covered.
How peculiar. Take a look at those gargoyles, Armando. You see those two? Those two seem rather normal, but then you take a look at those. You have one that's covering its eyes and one that's covering its ears. Have you ever seen a gargoyle do that?
I never see a gargoyle do that. Sadie, have you ever seen a gargoyle do that?
I don't think let me just say, in my long life, I've seen more gargoyles move than not move. So I've seen them do a lot of poses.
As you were mentioning this, Bartholomew, all of a sudden you hear a like patter noise above you.
I heard this pitter-patter of some footsteps above us.
I have a feeling it is wrath. I hate wrath. And I'm going to put my hand on my the handle of my sword to skewer the wrath. And so I'm ready. The sword is not coming out yet. But I'm like, I hope it is not wrath. But it could be wrath, so be ready.
It might be the no good doers that are harassing our doll friend. So let's keep an eye out for them.
Or Bertrand. We don't know who wrote that note. Was not signed.
I think it is.
Hey, GM, is there a three-headed hydra anywhere?
Not obvious, like nothing obvious in this room. No, not yet.
Okay. All right.
I say then we should head down that hallway.
Agreed.
All right, so you head down the hallway.
I am coming to... But I'm walking with my back to Armando and Bartholomew and my front towards the gargoyles.
So the hallway is lined with portraits of what seem to be Cromwell family members. There's a painting of two men drawing flintlock pistols upon one another. There's a painting of a dapper-looking individual with a large hat and a feather protruding from it, who looks very joyful, almost as if happy to see a visitor. There's a portrait of a young man dressed in very elaborate noble clothing with a thick ruffled neck collar and a very large and droopy hat. Upon his knee is sat a wooden doll, sat in a sailor suit. There's also a portrait of a lady holding a fan and looking very displeased. Sadie, as you guys head down this hallway, you notice that the eyes of the lady seem to follow you, like they look as you guys enter and pass the portrait.
I poke one.
Give me a dexterity check.
If I roll a 1, 2, 3, or a 4, do I miss the eye? Oh, I got a 5. Let's find out.
Yeah, your hands hit something odd and damp, and you hear like a thud on the other side and feet scrambling.
I jump through the portrait.
You find yourself in a dark area, very narrow, and it's very dark. Make another dexterity check if you would, to see if you can scramble through this narrow passage.
I rolled a 2. I only have 1 dice.
It is very small. You do see, like, faintly, you see, like, small footprints leaving the area, but you kind of get stuck wedged between this narrow, like, passageway between the walls of the hallway and whatever lies on the other side.
You guys!
Bartholomew already heard the and then the falling over and the running away, and they just look back and saw Sadie leap headfirst into a painting and just go and then start saying, guys, So Bartholomew reacts with a bit of a chuckle and then is like, "Oh, are you okay, Sadie? What happened?"
I look left down the hallway and I look right down the hallway and I'm like, somebody was watching us through the portrait and I don't know which way they went. Quick, let's pick a direction and go.
I nod and I just start running down a direction.
Yeah.
Which direction is available? Is it like one corridor or does it branch off?
Wait, I'm sorry. So are you trying to get into the passageway that Sadie is in, or are you just running down the hall that you're already in?
I was going to go down the one that Sadie was in, but I'm making a couple of assumptions. So, Sadie, let me clarify with you. Somebody is getting away. Which way did they go?
I don't know. But they were back here behind the portrait.
Then that is where we're going to go. And so I jump behind the portrait too.
Bartholomew follows, and as I learned in the Fire Breathing Kittens rule book, they always go left.
So you find yourselves in a very narrow passage. I'm not going to require a check to make it through. You eventually would make your way to a ladder. I will say it takes some doing, though. You are scraping the sides, and y'all really have to suck in to wedge your way through this thing. It's very dusty as well. But you make your way to what seems to be a small ladder leading up to the second floor, and there seems to be a trap door there.
I will climb the ladder and I will as quietly as I can, push the trap door up.
As you do, you hear you hear more pattering of little feet, and you make it up into a dusty bed chamber. There is a 4-post bed with a big canopy, and everything is covered in a thick layer of dust. The curtains on the windows are moth-eaten, but it looks pretty nondescript. Oh, there would be in this room a small plaque with a 3-headed hydra kind of inlaid in bronze upon the wall.
I like how sawdust is puppet dandruff.
What?
That's what we were described. There's a lot of dust here from the puppet joints, I guess.
Well, I would share with my team that I hear a little chuckle, like a little tiny hee 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 hee. And that, I mean, I'm not scared of a lot of things, but that was a little creepy. And so I just say, hey, there's a creepy laugh, and they ran away. If it's a rat that is laughing like that, I am very freaked out right now. But I don't think it's a rat. So let's keep going.
Yes, if I had to hazard a guess, this still's no good trouble to us.
So the only exit out of this room is into a large landing above the stairs. There seems to be another bedroom, we'll say caddy corner to this one, and then there's a large landing as well as a suit of armor kind of propped up on a stand against the wall above the stairs.
Before we leave the bedroom, though, I mean, I gotta explore the bedroom. So there's a bed. It's one of them 4-poster style beds. Are the curtains drawn?
Yes.
Okay, I want to look at the corpse. I'm sorry, I pull aside the curtain.
Okay.
That was quite a leap. Do you always expect to find a corpse in a 4-poster bed?
I mean, if you don't, you'll be really surprised.
I guess, yeah, if you're setting your expectation in a way that you're always pleasantly surprised. It's like, phew, no
There's
corpse.
no corpse. Wow, that's great.
That's true. And if it is a corpse, it's like, hey, I expected that already. That's a really good attitude, Sadie. I should remember that.
So you pull the curtain back, and sure enough, there's a corpse in bed. He seems to be eating a large sandwich. It's rotted. I guess it's the skeletal remains of a sandwich.
Is it an aspic sandwich?
I'm not sure that it would be if you could tell it was aspic at this point, if it
The
was.
skeletal remains of a sandwich.
You know, like the bones of a sandwich that you would have.
It's just dried out bread and dust, I guess.
Oh my gosh. All right. Oh man, this is
What a way to go. Eating a sandwich on your bed, you die.
There's worse
That is
ways.
not honorable.
All right, I think that's a good time for us to take our break. And we have been joined by Armando,
This is getting weirder and weirder.
Sadie,
It is a corpse.
and Bartholomew.
Yes, things are getting increasingly weird as we continue on, but it's true for another typical adventure for the Five Breathing Kittens. And before we head out, during this section, we like to read off reviews, but currently we don't have any. So here's one I made up myself. Jeannie Cuisine writes, I like this podcast. I'm totally interested in this year's season. My favorite episode so far is There Can Be Only One. My favorite character from that episode was Arby, and I hope to see more of their story expand further. If you'd like to leave a review, just leave a review anywhere you find our podcast.
Thank you, Bartholomew. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Did you know that you can pay us to read your words in the middle of one of our shows? It's called a shout out, and you can buy a shout out on firebreathingkittenspodcast.com. Today's shout out is, quote, currently funding on Kickstarter, Community Radio by Quinn Murphy is an immersive RPG where you play a community radio station in a bizarre, surreal town with strange decrees and stranger people. Find it on Kickstarter or at thoughtcrimegames.itch.io. End quote. And if you'd like us to read your shout out on air, visit firebreathingkittenspodcast.com.
Hello, and welcome back to Fire Breathing Kittens. We are playing Adventurous by Dawnfist Games. If my players would please roll a d6, and we'll see who does the recap.
5.
I've rolled a 2.
I have also rolled a 2.
Roll off, roll off.
Let's do this again. 3.
I also roll a 3. This is
Roll
ridiculous.
off, roll off, roll
I roll a
off.
1 this time. I'm going to go first.
3.
Okay.
All right, Armando, would you please read us a recap?
Okay. Let me see if I can recall exactly what happened. So, we are in the guild hall. I am leaning on a post looking at the job board, and there is this old tattered piece of paper, and Bartholomew is like, I want to check that out. I want to go see it. And I say, yes, I would like to as well. We go check it out, and there is this plea for help that somebody's house in once upon a time, this name of the city, is there's a lot of riffraff or whatever, a lot of ne'er-do-well, I think was the term they use. And they want us to get rid of it, and they're in a place they don't want to be. So they give an address and say there is a reward. So that is good enough for us. Sadie looks at the ink on the page and says, this is very old. And I'm like, I hope it is not too late. So we, of course, Bartholomew has Alistair his horse, and so he's ready to go. But Sadie and I go to the local horse dealer. We get horses. I get a hat that is way too small, and Sadie has a very fashionable hat because she is, she is fashionable. Anyway, we go to Once Upon a Time. It is super foggy, but that does not seem to impede our progress, except that it is limited visibility. We get to Once Upon a Time. We get to the address, and it is like this decrepit mansion. It's big, but it is totally in disrepair. The garden is overgrown, and the facade is crumbling. While we are there is an old man pottering around, which to me is very suspicious. But Bartholomew says that is his old friend Gideon, and Gideon says, hey, I'm just checking out this old mansion. It's a little bit scary. I was in there with the gargoyles, and it was making a weird sound, and I flee. And so we get the idea that this place has a couple of... It's weird, like it's a little bit off. So Sadie has this great idea. It's like, this is in disrepair. I am an investor, so I'm going to find out how to purchase this property, turn it around, make a profit. Fantastic. So we go to the town record building, town hall. She meets this fabulous old lady who seems to be eternally on a lunch break, and she is eating the grossest sandwich in the world. But to Sadie, it is like this wonderful liverwurst and something else. I tune out because it smell and sound gross. So they're talking. Me and Bartholomew go next door. We get a couple of coffees. He gets a souvenir cup. While we are there, we reunite with my long-lost cousin Federico, who happens to be, which I didn't know as Armando, the mayor of this whole town. And we catch up briefly. We're going to catch up more later. But he said that the place that we were going to, the mansion, is haunted. And so we're like, oh. And the person that owned it apparently will it to a creepy doll. Like it's not to their son or daughter, but to a doll, which gets my attention. It's like that, this is something different. We take that information, we go back to Sadie, who's having a lovely time about vinegar pie or whatever. And then she find out that the person who inherited the house, which we know is a creepy doll, is wearing like a sailor suit and is very nice apparently, and apparently paid a lot of money to the lady Annalisa to finalize the transaction. So we know the doll has the house, the doll has some kind of source of income, and the doll is the proprietor of this haunted mansion. So we go back to the mansion, and then we go inside. We knock on the door because we're polite, but nobody answered. We go inside. We have the flyer. No problem. There is sounds like a party, but we don't see anybody. We go in, cobwebs everywhere, gargoyles, beautiful tiled dome. We walk into where the paintings are, and there's paintings of the Cromwell estate. By the way, this is the Cromwell Manor. That is the name of the place. There's all these Cromwell paintings all over the place. Sadie, I can't believe this. But she sees a painting where somebody is looking at us, and she poked him in the eye. And I was blown away. I thought it was amazing. The person fall over. And then Sadie jumped through the painting into a hidden corridor. But she fall. But I was so impressed. I was like, this is a lady of action. You know what I mean? So anyway, we follow the corridor down. It's all dusty and narrow. We go to a ladder, we climb the ladder, and now it's in this bedroom that has not been used in apparently years. It's dusty, but we hear a giggle.
It's more like it's been in use continuously for many years.
Oh, that's true. Well, I will just say it is dusty. And we hear a giggle that was off-putting, like a little child or something like that. That is, hee 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 hee. I can't do it. I'm too masculine in my voice to do it right. But we hear it. And then I'm like, okay, we're on the right track. And so we get there. And we're about to go out when Sadie said, aha, I'm going to check the four-poster bed. Because I anticipate there's going to be a corpse there. Because that is her go-to of finding things in a four-poster bed. She pulled the curtain to the side. And what did she find? But a corpse eating a burial sandwich. And that is where we left off. You are now all caught up, listener.
Thank you, Armando, for the recap. So, Sadie has uncovered a very old, mummified-looking corpse holding a mummified sandwich. Wearing, like, some ratty pajama. Well, they're ratty now. They used to be in fine condition, but they've become ratty, and they have, like, a three-headed Hydra shield embellished or embroidered on the lapel. And you're in this dusty old room with a dead body. What do you do?
I start administrating a cleric's last rites with crystals. I get these crystals out, and I wave them over the body, and I'm saying prayers.
Sadie, I admit I am ignorant of what a cleric is supposed to do and when they are supposed to do it. But it seems like a little late, don't you think, to do the last rites for this person? Is there like a statute of limitation?
Oh my gosh. That's really messed up. Oh, if you don't get your last rites within like an hour, you don't get to go to heaven.
I don't know. See, no. Like I'm speaking of ignorance. I know this question may sound stupid or whatever, but like I'm asking you, is it like if I can die and like 100 years from now, a cleric can give me last rites and then I'm golden?
Well, the thing is, I don't know, and since I don't know, I'm gonna do them.
I appreciate that. Better safe than sorry. That's what I always say.
Jim, I'd like to. I don't know. There's nothing like on my character sheet. Guidance. I can spend 1 hour in meditation to ask my God for guidance. The GM will answer yes/no questions about your current situation truthfully. Can be used once per day. Okay. I just have one question.
Okay.
Did they die of natural causes?
No, definitely not.
An hour later, I look up from my crystal placement and I say to you guys, this person did not die of natural causes.
Can
Do you think they're a sandwich of poison?
Sorry, you guys talked at the same time.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to ask, do you think they're a sandwich with a poison?
I'm not really an expert in poisons, but I could nibble it. I've got an antidote. I nibble it.
That is a very old sandwich. What are you doing?
Bartholomew is perturbed by her eating that disgusting 100-year-old sandwich. That sandwich is so old that the deadly bacteria died on it.
Oh, like it's not poisonous anymore, but it was then. Like the poison's gone.
No, at this point, I think it like crumbles apart like ash almost, and just it's really disgusting. But it's not. I don't think it's gonna harm you. Like,
all right, I just get a bit more adventurous when I have an antidote on hand, and there's only one type of poison in the world. Like
Universal
would Sadie
antidote.
say that out loud, or is that just
no? But this is what she's thinking. Like I have the antidote, to any poison.
Bartholomew would say to Armando, have you noticed that Sadie is being a lot more adventurous now since our last adventure together?
Definitely. I don't know what got into her, but I like it. I mean,
yes.
She is very brave, and I'm glad she is on our side. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it seems like she's fitting in with the Adventuring Guild just fine.
You guys have been a really good influence. I feel safe around you. I feel like I can explore a bit more. T-3 episodes until she dies. This is 3. Count them down, people. Anyway, so, well, all I know is that they didn't die of natural causes, but I don't know what killed them. What do you guys think?
I would like to examine the pajamas to see if there's like a big hole or something, like they were stabbed or shot or something.
Give me a knowledge check.
Okay, so my knowledge is a 1, so I will roll 1 die. And I got a 2. That is called a failure.
The pajamas look a little constricting. Perhaps they died of discomfort.
I will share that with my team. I say, I don't know about how they die, but they were very uncomfortable when they die.
Oh, that makes sense. And Sadie trusts and believes you. I get out a crystal and leave it in his clasped hands because I feel like that would comfort his soul. All right, well, we should report this.
So I guess I will talk to my cousin about it. I don't know if like having a haunted mansion is like a certified location and you need at least one corpse or something inside to be official. So maybe this is like part of the decor or something, or like it is required to be here, otherwise it cannot be haunted. So yeah, we will make a note. But do you remember about an hour ago, before you were like inquiring with your deity, the giggle we hear?
Oh yeah, we chased somebody into this room.
I think they ran away, and we should probably follow them. Bartholomew, do you know, can you recall which way they may have gone?
Yes, let me discern that real quick. I'm very good at finding things tracking things in the forest. This should be no different. So I'd like to use my hunter senses. I get advantage on my tracking. So what skill would you use for tracking? Or I would imagine it'd be knowledge or willpower. I believe it's knowledge.
Yeah, I would go with knowledge.
Well, I have a whopping 1 in knowledge, but I get advantage, so it's 2. My chances of success have increased twofold. Ho ho! And I got 2 and a 1. I think that's ultimate failure.
So on one hand,
Doing really good.
You know.
No, so on one hand, your roll was poor. I would say that this place is in disrepair, and maybe it's hard to discern anything. But there's only one door, aside from the trap door you guys came through. There's one door out to a landing, and there's another, potentially another bedroom, and then there's a suit of armor standing on the landing, and then there's the stairs down.
I'm very wary about that suit of armor. If we're in a haunted mansion, and I've heard some folk tales, nursery rhymes, and whatnot about certain things of armor coming alive, same with the gargoyles that we saw earlier. So it wouldn't surprise me if this suit of armor all of a sudden wakes up and comes to attack us. So we need to be on our guard.
That would not do at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to employ a class feature from this game system. I'm going to use something called a feat of strength. It says, when I use force to destroy an inanimate object, I can choose either to do it very quickly or without a sound. So I'm going to destroy or kaplaf, hit the suit of armor with my sword to shatter it and scatter the pieces, just in case, if it's going to reconstitute into some kind of inanimate construct or something, it'll take a little bit of time after I scatter the pieces,
So is this loud then?
No, I can choose to do it very quietly, without a sound. That's how much of a warrior I am. It's the only sound you hear is me unsheathing my sword. It's a flamenco guitar. But then I go, and I
quietly.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It is, how can I do this quietly? It's like I'm hitting a metal thing against another metal thing, but...
Play in piano. I believe that's the technical term for playing softly.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So I'm okay. So this is what happened. I'm doing all my moves. I'm practicing my different forms as a sword fighter. And what I am unlocking is there is this internal chi that I have. And I'm able to as I apply it to the suit of armor, the different joints that connect the armor, they collapse. And one by one, the pieces fall to the very well-carpeted landing. It's thud, 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 but it's muffled, you know what I mean? It's not loud. I'm not clanging like some kind of amateur. So it's thud, 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 thud. And then eventually, the entire suit of armor is on the ground in pieces. And then I return my sword to the chief.
Yeah, Jim, he has thwarted your living statue puzzle.
I hope there was not a puzzle on that suit of armor because I just ruined
it. The suit of armor collapses to the ground in a heap, and all you hear is a and then you hear pattering of feet steps again.
What? Was there a puppet inside this?
No, there was nothing inside of it. You hear this from another area. It seems that your sword play has alarmed something.
I get that a lot from the crowd, to be honest with you. It is usually oohs or ahs, but sometimes it's a shriek of excitement. Like this, I imagine it is like a shriek of, I am so impressed with your swordplay.
Well, if there was some evil spirit inside that suit of armor, you've dealt with it. Good job, Armando.
It's my pleasure. So I like to look around the landing to see if there's any other, you say there's possibly another bedroom off of this landing or something, and then there's also a way down?
Yes. There's the stairwell, and there's one more adjoining room to this landing.
And will you say that the sound I hear of surprise and being impressed with my swordplay was from the bedroom area, or was it from like downstairs?
I mean, best you can tell, it didn't come from behind you from where you came. So the only place that you haven't checked would be the last room on this landing. If they had went down the stairs, they would have had to pass you.
So I turn to look at my party and I say, I think we should check out that room, don't you think? And I do my eyebrows up and down.
Yes, let's avenge this unnatural death.
Yes, agreed. Let's go.
At the sound of this, we are one in voice. I storm over to the door and I open it dramatically and tumble in. But like it's not like a clumsy tumble. Like I roll in and I come up with, I don't have my sword, but like I'm ready.
You hear a coming from, so this is another bedroom, probably a guest bedroom with a large bed. This one, the canopy is not covering, like it's been withdrawn and tied up to the posts. The bed hasn't been made. The mattress is in disrepair. The curtains are moth-eaten. There's dust everywhere. There's some nice furniture, of a rich mahogany. And then there's a closet, a large closet, and you hear like a rattling, kind of like the doors rattling just a faint little bit.
I do hand signals to my team to indicate like there is something in the closet, but I am not speaking that because I don't want to alarm whoever is in the closet, you know what I mean? Also, DM, are there many leather-bound books in this room?
Not in this room. No.
Okay, just checking.
I equip my musket and attach the bayonet to it just in case, and get up close quarters to the closet door, ready to open it, and prepare for the worst. Prepare for the worst. I can't be too sure of what's behind here. Even if it is making the sound of cowering in fear, it might be luring us for all I know.
There's a Coen Brothers movie where they open a closet and then like are too trigger happy with the person inside of the closet, and I just can't get that out of my head right now. I have a healing crystal ready.
You know, this is a good situation. Like if we had a cake, it would. How surprising would it be if we opened the closet door and like, haha, here's a cake for you. And they would be like, they would be shocked. So we would have the element of surprise. So we could like now use the bayonet on the musket. But we need something that in case it is not like a deli or whatever, something that would get their attention but not be threatening, you know?
Are you saying this aloud, Armando?
I'm saying it player to player, but not like as Armando. Although I will inquire, I will say, hey, do either of you have like a portable pie or something like that?
You hear a voice. I like pie.
The stakes have been raised. We need a pie. Does anybody have a pie?
I do recall, Sadie, you were talking to that Anise, what's her name? Annalisa, about vinegar pie, if I do recall.
To the person in the closet, I can go and get you a slice of pie. It might take a few hours for us to make a vinegar pie, but it does look like a very good recipe. It looks like she was telling me that, hold on, they talk so much before the recipe, that it takes 2 cups sugar, 3 tablespoons all-purpose flour, a 1/4 teaspoon ground nutmeg, pastry for the double crust pie, a 1/2 cup of butter, 2/3 cup white vinegar, and a quart hot water. And what I'm doing as I'm talking is opening the door.
3 small halfling children tumble out of the closet. And the 2 boys begin crying. And the girl is like, don't shoot us.
Oh, no, this isn't loaded. You have nothing to worry about.
It wasn't loaded?
No, it was bayoneted. I can't shoot with a bayonet on.
You were just going to be a spear to death, not a shot to death.
That's better.
Well, don't say it like that.
No, sorry. I find it very humorous. I mean, how many times have we been in this situation, really? This is, if I had a nickel or a silver, whatever the nickel equivalent is in this universe.
You see 3 small halfling children with forest green uniforms and brass embellishments. The oldest of which is a young halfling girl with light brown hair and blonde accents. And she's crying and she's saying, Frennick thought it would be funny if we scared people.
Let me take a good look at those uniforms. You said they were green uniforms. I'm wearing a green regimental coat uniform. Is it similar to that, or is it just... Oh, wait a minute. Are these cookie salesmen?
We used to be junior scouts.
Well, what a prospective activity group for you young kids. Very responsible of you. But
What bring you from... I'm sorry, go ahead, Bartholomew.
I was going to say, and playing tricks on people is a little bit out of, well, what would be expected of scouts.
I was going to say, what bring you from being a scout to this haunted mansion? Like, that is quite a... If you're going to pick a career track, like, that is a big jump.
Frennick looks at you and he's like, the scouts were disbanded. We put pepper in people's eyes and they kicked us out.
I read about that. That was crazy. But I think they had that coming. Oh,
Are these unattended children in a house with a corpse? Hold on. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. What?
maybe you should
And
ask,
an evil
ask
puppet?
them.
Checking stuff off the list. In this house, there is, ready? A puppet, a corpse, and 3 halfling children. And possibly murderous gargoyles / statues.
That's the scoreboard so far, yeah.
I'm just trying to understand. Okay, well, I now am rethinking things because the children haven't been murdered by the puppet.
I think they are big into pranking. And so, what better place to prank people than a known haunted mansion?
This really is a house I could buy. Holy cow. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
they are helping your cause. They are like lowering the property value by the day. And you can sweep in and like really clean up. So these are your allies, frankly.
I should send them into every house I try to buy.
Jameson, the middle child of these 3, looks at you and says, Patricia promised us snacks if we scared people.
I look at the girl and say, are you Patricia?
No, Patricia runs the tour group.
What is your name? My name is Armando Contenda Villano de Medici.
I'm Aurora Mary Vine, and these are my brothers, Frennick and Jameson.
So let me get this straight. The tour group leader pay you money to kind of enhance the creepy appeal of this haunted mansion, is that right?
She gave us cheese, says Frennick.
Is that like what the kids are calling money nowadays?
No, it
Or
was
are you talking
cheddar
literal
cheese.
literal cheese?
Armando, I think we found your rats.
Yeah, it is more true than I imagine. Although
We're
these
not
are
rats.
more cute. They are more cute than like regular rats with the long tail that is all slimy. Anyway.
The only similarity between you children and rats are that you like cheese.
That's true.
Have you children seen a puppet named Strickland here?
Aurora recoils a little bit and says, we stay out of that room.
Which room is that?
It's the only actually haunted room in this whole building. The drawing room. That creepy puppet.
The drawing room? Can you take me out near it and point to it?
She would
We will
lead you.
protect you.
She would lead you downstairs and points to the room across. If the main double doors are to your right and the hallway is to your left, she points right across the foyer to the room across the hall, or the foyer.
We got a final boss room over there, guys. Just pointing that one out to you.
As that happens, the entire manse begins to shake as eerie light seems to pour out from that room, and you see a marionette puppet floating in the air and heading in your direction.
What the blazes? What? he points his gun at ready to fire and realizes, oh damn, it's bayoneted. Give me a minute.
Everybody roll for initiative.
For anyone who doesn't know how a bayoneted musket works, you can't really fire it when it's bayoneted. You might think it. I've fired muskets with bayonets. They have to take an entire action. Well, in real life, you have to put the effort to take it on and off if you want to go from firing to using the bayonet.
Spend 5 turns drawing and loading your weapon.
That's fun.
Well, fortunately, we don't have to do that in this system, I don't think.
Exactly. So
initiative was be a knowledge test. If you succeed, you act before the opponent. All PCs who fail act after the opponent.
I once again have 1 in knowledge, but I get advantage on an initiative, and I got 2 6s.
Whoa, we get a momentum.
We get a momentum. Yes, I was about to say, Sweet. You're right. And now we get to demonstrate that.
I roll a 1 and I fail big time.
Oh.
I got a 5. I go before the glowing, floating ghost puppet.
So we have Sadie goes before, then the ghost puppet, and then Bartholomew and Armando. Is that correct?
Wait, how
Bartholomew
many?
gets 2 6s, right? Like he is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
success.
right. Momentum. I forgot. You got the double 6s. So then it's Bartholomew, Sadie, puppet, Armando. Armando. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So as this starts to happen, you hear lots of screaming coming from down the hall as the entire building is shaking and like things are falling off of the walls. And you hear this booming voice coming from this creepy, like wireless mannequin that's like floating in a sailor suit, like a creepy moth-eaten sailor suit. And it's just saying, I wanted to be left alone. And it's Bartholomew's turn.
Bartholomew recalls the letter about some no good doers in the mansion, and then immediately thinks, oh, the 3 rats here, and says to the mannequin, we found that we're here with the fire-breathing kittens to deal with these no good doers. We'll remove them from the premises at once, but if you come any closer, I'll shoot.
Give me either an intimidation or like a charisma. Well, intimidation would be like probably a strength check.
Okay, I've got 3 in that. So let me see. A 6, 5, and a 4. A strong success.
Remove these trespassers at once. And you see it kind of like lowers a little bit and looks a little less like it seems to have taken pause from your aggressive posture.
I keep my gun pointed at it and motion to Armando and Sadie. You two should get rid of these children at once.
Like, get rid of, like... Oh, what are you talking about?
No. I'm sorry. I'm a little on edge here. He says, looking back and looking at the puppet. Get them out of here.
Of course. That is what I thought you meant. Yes, of course.
So
Sadie, can I act? Sorry.
It's Sadie next, because we're still going to go in initiative order, but I'm not forcing you guys into a combat if you manage to talk the puppet down.
I scoop up 3 halfling children, and I run out the front door.
All right, so with that, the puppet is like, I can see you are trying to assist me. Please take these unwanted visitors from my mansion. And he just hovers there, waiting to see what happens. Armando?
So I'll say, hello, I assume you are a Strickland. My name is Armando Contenda Belano de Medici. I think a lot of people are here because they are curious about, like, the afterlife and supernatural stuff. And, like, this is a draw to them as, like, they want to be here, you know? So if you like, you can make this not a haunted mansion, and they will leave because they will be bored. Alternatively, the lady that just ran out with the 3 halfling children, she has a business proposition for you. I think she'll be back later, but she would like to buy your property, which I don't know, with that money, you could probably go wherever you want and be left alone. So that is a possibility. Is that okay for you?
They're wrecking the dining hall. At this point, you hear a bunch of crashing and screaming from the other room.
I don't think those were the only rats, Armando. It says Bartholomew eyeing towards the dining hall while slowly beginning to lower his gun from this marionette.
Do I have time on my turn? I know I do a lot of talking. Can I move toward the crashing? Would
Yeah,
it still be my turn?
If you guys head towards that direction, I'll say you can break out of initiative and we'll just go into see what happens.
Yeah, that's fine with me. This puppet don't hurt me at all, so I have no reason to be like alarmed or defensive or whatever.
All right, what would you guys like to do?
I suppose go toward the crashing. Bartholomew, I hear some noise over there. You want to go and check it out, or should we make sure Sadie is okay, or what do you think is a good plan of action?
Let's wait until Sadie arrives back here, and then we'll all three together sneak in and scout ahead and see what's in the dining area. I assume it's more of these children, these no-do-gooders.
I run back into the manor, my red hood falling around my shoulders from the running.
Good
Hey,
job,
that's right.
Sadie.
Do you get a haircut or something? You do something different with your hair? I did not notice because the hood was up the whole episode. It looks very nice.
Oh, thanks, I got highlights. It's just white on white.
It's a little more like a little off-white, but just like barely.
Yeah.
So you guys head towards the dining hall?
Oh yeah, we'll catch Sadie up with the plan and say, hey, this is what the puppet say. We hear noise over there. We're waiting for you. We're gonna go check it out. Are you ready?
Yeah. I get out a crystal.
This time, Bartholomew is going to lower his gun, not bayonet it. He's assuming that it's going to be more children that don't need to have weapons drawn for. And in case there is a need of a weapon, he has his trusty tomahawk at his side.
I have a plan. So, with my right hand, I'm going to put it on the hilt of my sword, like ready to draw. But with my left hand, I still have a half a cup of blue fire. So I'm going to go into the dining area and say, did somebody order a cup of coffee? Because immediately, like that's going to disarm the situation. Hopefully it's not a child, because I don't feel comfortable giving a child coffee. But we'll see what happens, you know? So I rush in with my cup of coffee. I say, did somebody want some coffee?
As you go to try to enter the dining room, the door itself seems to have been like not locked shut, but like there's something heavy on the other side of it.
Not anticipating this, I run into the door and I collapse into it and I get coffee all over myself. Like the rest of my coffee is all over the front of my outfit. I'm disappointed, clearly.
You could still open it, but you might need to make a strength test or a strength check with your...
I will do that. I will say, there's something blocking the door and it made me spill my coffee and I'm very angry about it. So I'm going to open the door right now. And so I turn to the door and I use my strength to open it. And as it turned out, as a warrior, I have, not necessarily all warriors are like this, but this warrior, I got a 4 strength. So I'm going to roll 4 dice. Oh, mama pajama. I got a 6, a 5, a 4, and a 5.
Oh, wow. Awesome. So
what does this mean for me opening the door? I hope it means the door is open.
Well, it's a strong success, which is, it doesn't give you momentum, but it's like the best success under a double sixes. So, yeah, you push it open. What you see inside is it looks like a chandelier inside of the dining room had collapsed and like landed right in front of the door and like wedged it shut. And the hearth in this room had like bellowed out and like, so there's like some stuff on fire. There's people scrambling towards the windows trying to break the windows, but there's like a ton of touristy folk who are wearing like badges around their necks.
I did not expect when we entered this ghost house for the party sounds to be from a literal party with lots of people.
There's a female half-orc wearing a non-threatening outfit of khaki pants and a white collared shirt.
light green skin, bluish black hair, and is wearing a visor and carrying a clipboard. And she's like panicking, and she's like, I don't know what to do. This is chaos. And like people are crawling out of the windows that they've broken, and they're like trying to escape, but they can't find an exit because the door was blocked, and they're just panicking, trampling over each other.
I believe this calls for someone who is more of a speaker rather than a fighter.
Oh, are you talking to me?
Both of you, because I'm not very much of a speaker. I'm more of an eloquent writer.
I think you are the best equipped because I don't know what I'm saying half the time. All I want to do is poke things with my sword. And I have not had a chance to do that except with the suit of armor, which was very satisfying. But I think your eloquence, it is what is required here to calm the situation, number one, with the people, and then number two, with that floating puppet, which is freaking me out, let me tell you.
Well, let me try it with my 1 in charisma. But Sadie, what... Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sure. So Sadie's character, what is your charisma? 1?
Yeah, so Sadie's not great at talking to new people. It's a 1.
So what you're saying is we all have 1 in charisma.
Yeah, you thought the stuttering girl would be good? I mean, she tries. She's like,
I guess I'm the best, but we all each have 1 brain cell. If we combine all 3 of our brain cells together. No, that's not how it works in the system.
Think of it this way. It is not like you are diminished, you know? It is all relative. Like you are actually a very fine fighter, but a little bit less than that is your charisma. Like you are able to fight, but you're also able to write, you know?
Let me try this. Everyone, settle down. There's an evil spirit that wants all of you to leave. That's what he's using with my 1d6, and I didn't. I accidentally rolled 3d6s on this phone app, but ended up getting a 3, so that was a failure.
You also have a momentum if you wish to use it. It allows you to reroll 1 die.
Let me try that then. A 3 again. I'm destined to roll a 3.
So what do you say exactly?
I said, everyone settle down. There's an evil spirit here that wants everyone here to leave.
Yeah, that wouldn't settle me down.
You may have inflamed the situation.
So
Unfortunately.
I would say the ones closest to you realize that you speaking, like you're standing in an open doorway now, and part of the panic was that the chandelier was blocking the door, and they're like, hey, this guy he unblocked the exit. We can go. Everybody, this way. And
What?
you start to see people forming a line towards your direction.
How many people are there, GM?
Let's say 40-ish.
Wait, how many?
40?
40? My word! Run! Turn to the others. Run! Out of the way!
I probably overshot it. It's probably more like 25, maybe.
That's still
40
funny.
sounds a lot. Sounds
25
like too
still
much.
a lot of people.
It is.
They're barreling out.
There was a body upstairs. What?
Maybe that room is typically roped off or something, but we took the secret passage. I mean, I don't think they're supposed to like fly through the painting in the corridor, Sadie. Am I right?
I guess, yeah.
So I'm jumping out of the way.
They've scrambled past you. Not everybody gets the clue, and like there's still people climbing out the windows over the top of each other. And when the whole building shook, stuff fell in the dining room. Like the chandelier fell, blocked the door. The hearth bellowed fire, like poltergeist type activity was happening. So people are panicking, and there was no exit until Armando opened the door by pushing the chandelier out of the way.
I did notice that the guy is screaming and leaving the door. Credit Bartholomew for opening the door, but I'm not going to make a big deal about it. We are a team.
Yeah, we should like let these panicked people leave. I step aside.
So after a while, everybody begins to exit, except for a few stragglers who are like disoriented and like, I don't know if you've heard someone describe like a emergency type situation, but people do weird stuff when there's like carnage happening. And so there's some that are like stumbling around and like not knowing, like they don't have their bearings.
I will try. I recognize panic. I've seen it many times in my journeys, and so I will direct people to. I will put a calming hand on their shoulder and say, "Oh, this is the way to the exit. You will be safe." And I will kind of direct one by one whoever is stumbling and not able to do it themselves. I help them and say, "It's okay. You will be okay. Just this way to the exit." And hopefully they are safe, like the Marybine children.
Yeah, you guys successfully clear the area and things calm down and the fire dies down and now you have an empty dining room.
Is the half orc with the white shirt still there? I assume this is probably Patricia.
Yeah, she got out of there the minute she realized, like, people were heading out the way you guys were. She went out through the window. Like, she escaped because she was like, I don't know if I want to be caught. Like, she realized that people, like, a third party was now entering the area, and she was like, oh, I better get out of here. So she left.
So it looks like it's just us and the floating puppet.
I believe so, yes. You've cleared
Then
the place.
I will turn to Sadie and say, "Hey, I got a sneaking suspicion that this guy owns this house. If you wanted to strike a deal with him, I mean, if after that a checking of the house is like in worse shape, so maybe you get an even better deal than you did before."
I've never bought a house from a ghost puppet before. Can you help me negotiate?
Certainly, Sadie. I'll bring my one charisma to put up with your one charisma. And Armando, I'm going to ask you to please join in with your one charisma, and we shall strike the best deal.
I mean, it's relative. Like, I got a lot of charisma, frankly, but I just have a lot more strength.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I will join you. We could say to the puppet, "Hey, I think we clear out your trespassers. Is that all you wanted?"
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
As you say this, you notice the marionette has settled down, and this sailor-suited puppet kind of goes limp on the floor, and you see a ghostly apparition arise from the puppet itself. You see a older human male with dark hair and a very elaborate military-style noble outfit with a very large neck frill. He has a ghostly waxed mustache. Although he looks quite spooky, he seems to have like a timid and shy demeanor. And he says, "Thank you for clearing my house. These ne'er-do-wells were breaking my grandmother's fine china. They left debris and litter scattered about as if this were just a sidewalk."
GM, does this look like the son of the person who died upstairs who was lost at sea?
No, it looks like a unmummified spirit version of the person who was dead upstairs.
Oh, even closer than a son.
I think we see a painting of this guy with the puppet on his leg.
Yes, that was Bertrand Cromwell.
Oh, okay, it was labeled Bertrand. Yeah, Sadie's not going to say anything. She's just like in shock.
I mean, I hear what the ghost is saying, like how everybody was messing up the china and whatever. But then I think, they're not the one that dropped the giant chandelier off the ceiling and used the fire to burn the dining area. I mean, when you point one finger, there are three pointing back at you,
Puppet hand.
I merely wanted to live my eternal, tormented life in peace, reading my large library of books. But people would not leave my mansion alone.
Is that because the owner was dead? Is that why they didn't leave it alone? Because that can happen, when a house, it's like all your bills are set on auto pay, but no one's mowing your lawn, And then the local ruffians move in and start, inhabiting your house. Is the owner of this house dead?
I am the owner. I passed the ownership of this place to Strickland so that I could appear as an entity in this house, and I thought that people would leave a creepy puppet alone.
Creepy puppets are not great at mowing lawns.
They also do not kind of fight back against people that are trying to set up spooky tours in your house. Like they probably came up to the doll and was like, "Can we do a spooky tour in your house?" And the dolls say nothing, so they're like, "I guess that's a yes." And so they're now doing a spooky tour the whole time, and that's disturbing your reading. But I will say, this lady right here, she is very knowledgeable and is a firm believer of property rights. So if you pass ownership to her, she can make sure nobody comes in this house, and you are free to read all the books you want. I mean, am I overstepping my bounds, Sadie?
I would want to put like a tenant in here, but that would only be 1, maybe 5 people. Definitely not 25 to 40. And they don't throw parties. I mean, I can kick them out if they do.
And we can like rope off, move your books somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, we can just lock that room. You can pass through walls.
Who would you pass the property on to when you pass?
Oh, that's going to be a long time from now. I'm 718 years old.
That sounds like a lot, but she's still very young.
I look like I'm 18 years old. And I could rent this out to a lovely tenant. I could let you help pick the tenant, and then we would get income from them, use that to pay a lawn mowing service,
I just found myself caught between a rock and a hard place. It's hard for a ghost, If you scare people, then people want to see the haunting. But if you just disappear, people think that there's still a ghost.
I have a solution. Because I was, actually, Bartholomew and me were recently in the land of the dead. And there were a lot of, the death was talking about people that were inhabiting different places, like haunting. And maybe you could go on vacation to like some other house. But you appear there every once in a while. And so that house becomes haunted. And that is where all the people go to try to see like a haunting or whatever. But they leave this house alone because Sadie is managing it.
Like a decoy, a red herring, perhaps.
And then you also get to see the sights, you visit places maybe you wanted to see in life, but you did not get to see. Or they would not let you into a certain country club or whatever. But now you can go whenever you want because you are a ghost.
I find this arrangement to be very appealing. As long as I was allowed to continue to read my books in peace.
My friend Bartholomew here has his own magazine, and it's very inspiring. In fact, it is called The Inspirer. Have you had an opportunity to read The Inspirer?
I have not. What is published in this?
I would like to share it with you, but before that, I hear that you are familiar with a certain place known as the Summerfell Estate. What do you know about that place?
I have cousins who lived in the Summerfell Estate for quite a bit during, vacations or holidays. They came back to me and told me of a place called Famui Dunes. They said it was a great adventure and that I should explore it, and I met a man at a bazaar there who sold me this wooden marionette. But it gave me eternal life, but unfortunately it caused me to waste away no matter how much I ate. And I had to keep eating and eating until I unfortunately ate myself to death.
How peculiar. So, your family who lives at Summerfell Estate went to the Famui Dunes and went on adventures there, and you went there as well and came back from a bazaar and getting this item of eternal life. How peculiar.
It was a blessing and a curse, as I am stuck, trapped, tied to the body of this marionette.
Do you know what befell of Summerfell?
I do not. I have not seen my cousins in a long time.
Bartholomew stands up straight and recites a bit of the history of his hometown. I am from Pine Drake, so below Summerfell Estate, that the lords of that manor lorded over unfairly and unjustly, and my ancestors revolted against them. But on the day that we revolted and were at near victory, there was a cataclysm that shook the land, and out of Summerfell Estate came revenants that descended upon our town, and they have been descending on our town for 100 years.
That is quite a dire circumstance. I wish you luck on your quest in trying to relieve this curse.
Yes, hearing you getting a curse as well, connect some dots. Perhaps they were cursed the same way you were.
So I have a question about your curse, like with the doll. That's not transferable or anything, right? Like if we touch a doll or something, we're not going to get cursed like that?
I'm afraid it acts as a vessel for one soul at a time. I would have to be expelled from my vessel in order for someone else to take residence.
Well, I don't want to do that. Like, what I was thinking is, like, if you like the beach or whatever, we could take the doll to the beach, and you could, like, I don't know if ghosts enjoy the rays and the waves. You know, we just, if you're tied to the doll can be where you want to be, and we can help with that. And Sadie, as your new property manager, she is very capable. As long as you cut her into the profit, you know?
I'm unsure what direct rays of sunlight would do to my incorporeal form.
There's only one way to find out. I mean, what have you got to lose, right? I mean...
just eternal life with a library.
I mean...
I don't think we have to risk anything. Honestly, reading all day sounds really fun.
I promised you a reward if you fire-breathing kittens would help me. Inside of my drawing room, amongst my library, if you would come with me, I can access my personal treasury and reward you with very much gold, of which I have not a lot of use, especially if this property is changing hands.
I mean, that works for me if that is something that is amenable to you.
Yes, I would very much appreciate a little bit of monetization from this adventure. It's a good thing to save up for my future travels to the desert, it seems, is where this is taking me. Perhaps I'll find my answers there.
Be wary of any deals you make in the Famui Dunes, or you might end up like me.
Noted.
And with that, he would lead you to his drawing room, where he provides you each with 5,000 gold.
Ooh.
That is a lot of gold.
That's more than the 15 I started with in this episode. I don't know if anyone spent their money in character creation, but I spent it on ink, quill, and paper, and then I'm left with 15.
I wish I would have had a backpack with my gold so I could carry all this other gold.
Alistar would be able to carry it. I'm sure your horses could as well.
That's right, I gotta wear that hat again.
I forgot about that.
Well, okay, so are you okay with the agreement that Sadie take over and take care of you though, and she live a long time, and I'm sure she had friends or whatever that she can help manage for forever if you like.
This will work as long as I am left to my own devices here in this mansion.
I'll give you veto rights on every tenant.
This will work quite well, I believe. A very desirable partnership.
So do you need that in writing or whatever, Sadie? I'm not a business person.
Oh, yes. But thankfully we know a notary who can come here to the house. I will start a batch of liverwurst. I don't actually know what that is in real life. Going. So that's the plan, GM. I'm going to have Annalisa Pottingham come here and notarize some papers, and I'll give her food, and I won't eat any of her food. No, wait, I still have that antidote. I will eat her food, and we'll have a nice signing party. Yay.
So interesting note about that. If you guys return back to the town hall, Federico would greet Armando as you guys enter, and he's like, Armando, I looked into the deed of that property you asked me about, and it turns out my very own secretary was the notary on the deal with a puppet. I had to fire her. This is ridiculous, selling a house to a puppet.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I think that is a gross abuse of power to pocket the money just so you can sell it to a puppet. But I think you probably... we met a new person who is actually a very old person, who is actually a very dead person. You should talk to this person and they can clear it all up, because maybe the puppet was not exactly in the wrong, and maybe Annalisa should probably have her job back. I don't know. Talk to Sadie. She knows all the details with that kind of thing. But I do want to say, I think we may have solved your haunted mansion problem. GM, I would also like Armando, after talking to Bertrand, he will probably, once he discovers the corpse in the bed is belonging to him, he will want to bury that body.
Yeah, that would be easy to do. But also, Federico says, I don't know how I'm going to sell this house. It's got such a bad history, and the property is unkempt, and it's in really poor repair, and it was formerly owned by a puppet. I don't know what to do.
I leave it to my associate who is a master of business. She knows everything to do to make it like a world-class establishment. Totally. I completely trust her. And so I point to Sadie.
I have a property management organization that I think you'll get along with very well, but it'll look crisp and clean from the outside, and it will bring in passive income. And the property taxes will be paid in full. There is a former resident, but they would like to live on as a tenant, so we're going to need dual entrances. So we need, start talking about one lockable door per resident, of course. And I don't actually know anything about property law, you guys, but I do know you have to have your own door, right? You have to have your own window for a bedroom, right? Bedroom window, office no window. Yeah. I don't know.
I know you need 2 locks on your front door. One is accessible by a key, but one is a deadbolt that cannot be accessed by a key.
Oh, yeah. All these laws. Sadie would know that stuff. And Sadie would definitely have a property management company that she employs. But I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Jim. Yeah. Woo.
I like this deal. I think we can work out a very good business relationship. And unless there's anything else you guys want to do, I think that's a good time to wrap it up.
I mean, that sounds good. I need to figure out what to do with all this money I got.
All right, so we
I
have
buried
been...
the body.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. No, I'm mumbling to myself. Go right ahead. I should have done that off microphone.
Speaking of which, where would you choose to bury the body? Would you ask him, or would you just pick a place on the grounds?
I would ask. Well,
don't watch us as we bury your body.
I would propose. So I would propose it to him and say, look, I would like to do you the honor of burying your body because that is something everybody should be entitled to. Is there a preferred place you have, like a tree you enjoy, or maybe a place where your family is? Do you want me to bury you there?
Yes, there is a Cromwell family mausoleum. I do believe you might have a hard time clearing the area, but perhaps if you could just lay me to rest there.
That is not a problem. And that is a lot less digging. Mausoleum over the ground is perfect.
And with that, I believe we'll call it the end of the episode. Today we were joined by Armando.
That did not go the way I thought it was going to go.
Bartholomew.
Well, I've finally gone on an adventure that is leading me closer to ending the cure of the curse that plagues my homeland.
And Sadie.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
It's that part of the show where we recommend a podcast that you might enjoy. Have you heard of Beck Did It Better? Quote, we are going through the top 500 albums according to Rolling Stone magazine. We talk about each album and we also give dating advice to our single friend. So far, the advice has been bad enough that we are still recording on Friday nights. Call and leave a message on the Beck line, 802-277-BECK. We just want to be famous. Is that so much to ask? And here's a recent review. It says, 5 stars. Best 90 minutes. Hey, all right, this podcast is a home run. Check out Beck Did It Better, a podcast.